Welcome to the St. Michael Advent podcast series. My name is Ken Brannon, and I will be leading our meditation today. Our theme this Advent is hope. May you be blessed for the Christian journey. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. A reading from Luke, chapter 21, beginning at the 20th verse. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, then know that its desolation has come near. Then those in Judea must flee to the mountains, and those inside the city must leave it, and those out in the country must not enter it. For these are the days of vengeance, as a fulfillment of all that is written. Woe to those who are pregnant, and to those who are nursing infants in those days. For there will be great distress on the earth, and wrath against this people. They will fall by the edge of the sword and be taken away as captives among all nations. And Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. There will be signs in the sun, the moon, and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations, confused by the roaring of the sea and the waves. People will faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Here ends the reading. Well, that's an encouraging reading. Our theme this Advent is hope, but in today's passage, we hear words like desolation, vengeance, distress, wrath, fear, and foreboding. I wonder how many people have already turned off this podcast, certain that they don't need any more anxiety than they already have. However, if you stick with me, I promise there is hope ahead. Not a false hope, but a hope that is grounded in the grace and goodness of God. In today's mini-apocalypse from Luke, Jesus makes it clear that it won't be easy sailing for his disciples. Marauding armies will trample Jerusalem, and there will be unspeakable grief and horror. Jesus isn't just predicting the future. He's looking back at his people's exile under Babylon and Persia, and anticipating the application of raw power by the Roman Empire. As it turns out, Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans in year 70 of the Common Era, about 15 years before the Gospel of Luke was written. So the Gospel writer knows full well what has already happened. The world as he knows it is in terror and tumult. I don't think it's overstating things to say that 2020 has been near apocalyptic for us as well. A pandemic has swept across the world, and our national politics has left us tired and divided. Natural disasters have been bigger and more frequent than usual, and our economy is wounded. Our church has been at least partially closed for over 8 months, and we long to hug our family and friends and other households again. We know that life can be hard, but 2020 has been harder than most. And yet, as followers of Christ, we live in hope. Hope isn't just wishful thinking. Hope isn't just denying reality and putting on rose-colored glasses. Hope is clear-eyed, fully aware of the present suffering, but also anticipating a holy reality that has not yet been revealed. Today's passage ends this way. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to take place, stand up and raise your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. Jesus seems to suggest that when things are the hardest, when we're not sure how we'll take another step, that is when Christ comes to us with healing in his hands. Jesus' very name means God saves. So when the bridge is out and the enemy is advancing, God will touch the waters and allow us to pass through on dry ground. God's salvation is not limited to individuals. It is meant for entire peoples and nations. In fact, we can't know the fullness of God's wholeness until everyone knows wholeness. In God's economy, no one gets left behind. And when that day comes, we will rejoice. Just like Miriam sang a song of praise when the Israelites crossed the Red Sea on dry ground, so we will sing a song of praise when we make it through to the other side of this present reality. God envisions a future for God's people that is just, merciful, and reflective of God's goodness. So watch for hope this Advent. Keep your eyes open for glimmers of God's glory. Allow Christ to redeem those places in you and our nation that are tired, discouraged, afraid, or alone. Dare to hope for heaven on earth, not as an escape from reality, but as a sign of trust in God's promise to heal us and make us whole. Amen. Please join me as we continue with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Eternal God, in whose perfect kingdom no sword is drawn but the sword of righteousness, no strength known but the strength of love, so mightily spread abroad your Spirit, that all peoples may be gathered under the banner of the Prince of Peace, as children of one Father, to whom be dominion and glory, now and forever. Amen.